Should we sound the alarms in Ann Arbor, Michigan? Is the football program in trouble? Sharon Moore, is he not a good coach and just signed a contract? And Michigan loses to Michigan? Well, if you're an Ohio State fan like me and you're watching here on the Ohio State Football Report, we're going to talk about today Michigan in trouble. The national champions are not a good football team, and I'm going to tell you why my boss, James Yoder, in the Michigan football fan base is coping right now after losing and getting destroyed to Texas. But first up on the show, I want to ask you, hit that like button if you do not like Michigan like Ohio State fans don't. Beat TTUN, that's going to be the motto all year long, and get revenge on Michigan, who's in shambles right now. So if you don't like Michigan, if you're an Alabama fan, a Michigan State fan, a Penn State fan, you don't like them, hit that like button to support and go against the Wolverines because they're not that good anymore. But let's talk about how they got destroyed on national TV. The most viewed game of the week in college football was the Texas-Michigan game. 31-12. Steve Sarkisian, head coach of Texas, called a heck of a game, was unbelievable with his quarterback Quinn Ewers, who looks to be one of the Heisman favorites, former Buckeye, so he had some vengeance out. Isaiah Bond ran the ball really well. This was fun to watch if you're an Ohio State fan, and this was not a fluke loss by Michigan and the defending national champions. I will give my flowers that they did win last year, but not a fluke loss by any means because of the fact that this Michigan team is not that good and makes a lot of mistakes, and we saw this in week 1 against a weak Fresno State team. Davis Warren, we knew coming into this season Michigan would have quarterback problems after losing J.J. McCarthy, a top 20 pick in the NFL draft to the Minnesota Vikings. McCarthy was a very good quarterback in college. Again, we'll give credit. Michigan had a lot of talent last year and was one of the main reasons why they won. Davis Warren not playing well. Fresno State could barely throw the ball. They had to bring Alex Orji in because he wasn't playing well. The completion percentage, a little surprising. He was able to throw it pretty well for when he did throw it. But he was in trouble a lot. He turned the ball over twice. He only threw 1 touchdown in the 10 points they scored in the entire game. Threw the ball 204. It was kind of some garbage time at the end for in terms of passing yards. But Davis Warren was one of the main reasons why this Michigan team lost. He had a critical moment where Michigan could have kept this game really close. It was 14-3. Texas was leading, so Texas started off hot, as like they usually do, and Michigan was playing poor. But a simple curl route to wide receiver Tyler Morris, Davis Warren just missed him, threw an interception. If they had scored that drive or had even gotten a field goal, it would have been a one-score game. But that interception led to just a disaster where Michigan kept making mistakes. And was one of the big storylines coming into this season is their quarterback play is not going to be consistent. And his offensive line most certainly did not help because of the fact that they are a whole new O-line, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But this offensive line that had a lot of 22, 23-year-olds that are now all going to be in the NFL that are legit players and were legit players, including Trevor Keegan, that this O-line really was not doing well for Davis Warren. And you know what? I kind of love it. Like, I'm not going to be upset at all because of the fact that this Michigan team just didn't play well flat out. And I want to ask you guys one thing quickly. If you love the Ohio State content, hit that sub button. Just get those notifications for when I'm posting content because it's becoming daily, and Ohio State is on a bye week, but when it's game week, preview, recaps, I got it all, recruiting news, Ryan Dane news. I'm going to talk about everything about this team in the 2024 season, so don't miss anything. Hit that subscribe button. Let's keep building the numbers on this channel. And now let's talk about this Michigan offensive line that was not good and has not been good this season. This is where they are this season in terms of the PFF rank in the 2024 season. 47th overall. Last year, Michigan offensive line was top 10. Their pass block win rate, not good at all. 51.8%. They could barely block Davis Warren. And that showed a lot due to the fact that he turned the ball over twice, got sacked multiple times. Michigan and Donovan Edwards could barely run the ball. Same with Kalel Mullings. They could barely run and got a 55.4 grade on that. And they allowed 11 hurries. That's some of the worst offensive line play that Michigan's had in a long, long time. And in comparison to 2023, they were the 9th best offensive line in the country. And it showed dramatically. And it showed the last few years with Michigan. Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum ran all over opponents, including Ohio State. And they're all gone. This entire offensive line is gone due to the fact that they have been really good and consistent and older. Now we're going to talk about the defense in just a moment, but I have a special message from our friends at Game Time. One of our good friends is Game Time, and they have a great deal for you. Recently, I went to see the New York Yankees, my team. They were down here in Texas, play the Texas Rangers, and I got a crazy good deal from Game Time just a day before the game. I sat in the first concourse in left field for an extremely low cost. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. When I went to the Yankees game, or when I'm going to an Ohio State football game coming up, I'm going to get a super deal, and I got a super deal for the Yankees game. It was 10% off already, super cheap tickets, and I couldn't believe it. I was able to see the exact view of my seats before I bought them and had that awesome super deal, and it had the lowest price guaranteed. Your purchase is also covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Also, the all-in pricing is so sweet. You can toggle this feature to show the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. So, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Michigan's defense. Let's talk about them now. We know they were one of the keys to being national champions last year. They still have a lot of talent, but they played really poor in the last game against Texas and against Fresno State. They're lucky Will Johnson got an interception, but besides that, this team is not as good as people think. And the defense does have talent. Like PFF put an NFL mock draft out. Mason Graham, defensive lineman from Michigan. He's going projected right now 3rd overall to the Broncos. Right next to him, right down below at 4, it's Will Johnson, another Michigan player. So they have 2 perennial players on this team. And I think the fact that you have Mason Graham, who I think is arguably the best player in this draft class coming up, and Will Johnson, where is maybe the best cornerback, and the fact that they're struggling on defense, I think it's hilarious to think about. And they're the 79th best defense in the country. They are not that good this year, and it's showing. They got ultimately just outplayed by Texas in every single way. And you know what? That was kind of funny to watch because we heard all about Wink Martindale and how he was a defensive guru from Baltimore Ravens to the New York Giants. That failed with the New York Giants. And then goes to Michigan and thinks he's going to have all this success. And in the second half, Jenny Taft of Fox Sports reported that Wink said, we're going to change everything up. They don't know what's coming. Texas knew what was coming. Look at the statistics. They just flat out embarrassed them. Almost 400 yards total that Texas offense put together. Quinn Ewers, 246 passing yards. Isaiah Bond, he ran all over them. They didn't turn the ball over once, so Michigan couldn't get any turnovers and force anything for their offense and help them out, and they controlled the time of possession. I think that's so critical for what Texas did, and they're a legit team. They're a top 3 team in the country. I think in no particular order, I'll say Georgia's still at number 1, but I think Ohio State and Texas are 2A and 2B right now. I'll give Texas the slight edge only because of the fact they did play a bigger non-conference opponent, and we've seen them play a team that was technically ranked in the top 10, but was Michigan actually a top 10 team? I don't think so. However, Texas, legit. Quinn Ewers, legit. Steve Sarkisian, great coach and a great fit. And Texas is back. And as much as I didn't like Texas growing up and still don't love Texas, it's good to have Texas back in college football and being one of the top teams and a blue blood in this program, in this college football day and age. I love it. But I got to ask you guys this one question. What is your one-word reaction to the Michigan loss against Texas? Happy? Fantastic. Day was made. Weekend was amazing. I know that's multiple words, but my day was made. I was having the best time of my life. And seeing that Notre Dame lose at the same time, that's a good day for America. It's like when the Cowboys lose anytime. America's team kind of lost, and Michigan and Notre Dame both lost that same day. That's a good day, especially if you're a Buckeye fan. It never hurts watching the Wolverines lose. Now, from the Ohio State side of things and why Michigan's in shambles and how this will affect Ryan Day and this 2024 Buckeyes team, this loss really does benefit Ohio State. You see where Michigan struggled, and you're going to try and exploit them come November 30th when you play at the Horseshoe at noon Eastern time. This is really good for Ohio State because of the fact that they have a lot of time to prepare. Michigan might lose another 2 to 3 games before they even play Ohio State. So this program could just be downright going down in flames, and Mason Graham and Will Johnson might sit out if they keep losing games because they don't want to get hurt and hurt their draft stock. But from an Ohio State perspective, they are killing it right now in certain categories. They're scoring offense with Will Howard leading the way, the quarterback. They're 4th overall in the NCAA. 54 points they average through the first 2 games of the season. Their scoring defense is 4th as well. They allow just 3 points a game. This is like the defense we saw last year, but could be even better because of how much production they return and the pieces they added, including Caleb Downs, who is the best player in the transfer portal. The total defense overall, just 2nd overall. I like to say this about the game. How do you feel? Because I'm feeling really confident right now with the way Ohio State is playing and the way Michigan just played these last 2 games. Fresno State, they did not look pretty. And then Texas, they lost. And national audience got to see what Michigan football really is like this year and what Jim Harbaugh was able to put together. And I don't know if you want to talk about the Connor Stallions thing or not because, again, the NCAA is still investigating. But say what you want about that. This Michigan team, not the same. So what's your confidence rating going to this game? Mine is high as it's ever been because of the fact that Ohio State's home. Ohio State's looking for vengeance. And we know this 2021 recruiting class under Ryan Day and Jack Sawyer, JTT, and the rest of them said they're coming back for one reason only, and that's to beat Michigan. Good news for the Buckeyes. I am so excited to see what Ohio State's going to be able to do because of the fact that this Ohio State team is just really skilled. They have a lot of potential players that are going to be great NFL players soon enough. Jeremiah Smith's already being talked about by Geno Smith in the NFL is going to go down as one of the greatest wide receivers in this sport ever. This guy's 18 years old, and they're talking about him in that light. I mean, that's pretty insane. The dude trained with Richard Sherman at 16 years old. Imagine going against one of the best cornerbacks in the past 10 years in the NFL at 16 years old and getting that work in. You are going to learn a lot, and going against those Ohio State cornerbacks and safeties, you're even going to learn more because they're the best group overall in the country. Once again, Michigan lost. It's a good day to be a Buckeye. And you know what? If you're happy like I am, hit that like button. Let's keep growing the likes. It really does help us out here on the Ohio State Football Report. But Michigan lost. Nothing to be upset about. And my boss, James Yoder, not too happy either. So, you know what? That's for a good day and a good recipe always. That's going to be it for now here on the Ohio State Football Report. Make sure to hit my Twitter at Matt Goldman 28 and give me a follow, DM me, and let's talk about Ohio State. And that's what's going to happen all season long, and we're going to keep you updated on everything. So we'll see you next time. Go Bucks.